The next thing that we're going to focus in this lesson is how to find x and y intercepts of a function when our equation is already in the standard form. Okay, so I don't want to be changing this back into the general form and then trying to find my x and y intercepts. I want to be able to find my x and y intercept using this form as well. Okay, so if you remember, so again, what does x and y intercept really mean? If you guys remember, x-intercepts are those points right here, and that's when y point is equal to 0. And this is your y-intercept, and this is when your x is equal to 0. So I'm going to start with the y-intercept. So y-intercept is a point when my x is equal to 0. So if I take a look at my equation, I'm going to write it as y equal to, and this time I'm going to set my x equal to 0. Okay, so now we're simply going to simplify this side. So it will be -1 squared, which just is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. So -1 squared becomes a +1 times 3 is 3, minus 9. And y here is going to be -6. So what this is telling me is that my y-intercept will be at -6 here. Okay. Now, the second thing that we're going to do is look for x-intercept. And remember, x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. Okay. This one is going to be a little bit more work. So let's follow that carefully, okay? We're going to start with our equation again. But this time we're going to set y equal to 0. So what we have to do here now is we have to move everything from this side away to the other side. So we're going to isolate our x here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this 9. Because whatever is added, subtract x, because we're doing opposite of BEDMAS, remember? The last thing has to go away first. So addition, subtraction goes away. The next thing would be to deal with this multiplication. So I would divide both sides by 3. Now we have an exponent, so we need to get rid of the square sign. And the opposite of squaring is square rooting it, because that would cancel it. And I would do the same thing to the other side. Now this is where you need to be, guys, to be very careful here. You remember the square root, if you remember, square root of 4 gives us 2 options, +2 and -2. So any square root has 2 options. So even though you can't find the square root of 3 as a whole number, and you don't want to make it into a decimal, because it says keep it as exact. So if whatever that number is, you will treat that answer as 2 answers, a positive number and a negative number. So whether you can actually find the answer to that square root as a proper integer, or you need to keep the square root, you will still represent both positive and negative parts of it. So when you do this step, you're going to say that the square root of 3 is plus and minus 3. Okay, so that is a very, very, very important thing that you need to take a look at. It's a square root of square root 3, not just 3, sorry. Okay, so the square root of 3 is positive and negative square root 3, because it could have 2 possible answers. So once you have done that, now what we have to do is move that 1 to the other side, so +1. So I'll just put +1 here. Okay, so x is going to be 1 plus or minus square root 3, which you can write as 2 different values. X can be equal to 1 plus square root 3, and the other option for your x-intercept can be 1 minus square root 3. And it does make sense, a parabola can have 2 x-intercepts, right? So those are my 2 x-intercepts over there.